This is a video walkthrough going through our modern Minnesota migration assignment. I'm going to start off on the directions. We've just finished a simulation about a historical migration, and we did that through our Mission US activity, looking at Lena Brodsky coming from Russia to New York, and then we've translated that into our experiences here in Minnesota. Today, there are still migrants who are coming to the United States and to Minnesota. There are two ways to access this assignment: the physical book in the classroom or the online version. The password username is located on our learner login page. So I'm going to start from zero here. I'm on my learner login page, and I'm going to click on our Northern Lights book. Yours will look just like that. Once you click on the book, we're going to log in, and it will tell us that our activity is going to be inside of chapter 20. So we're going all the way to the very end, chapter 20. I'm going to let that load in the background. I'm going to read our questions, and as we keep going, we'll be using this instructional video. We'll do this all in one big chunk. If you get stuck on one of these questions, then start and stop as needed. Be sure to use race in your responses. Introduction: how has Minnesota's population changed since 1980? So that's going to be found located into our introduction page. So we'll be looking here, and then here in our introduction section, and then we'll notice that we've got a header here: Sammy Ardito Rivera. Sammy Ardito Rivera's story talks about the importance of traditional foods for contemporary American Indians. Give two reasons for this. So why would having traditional food be important for people living today? And I'm not citing this on what I think. I'm citing this according to Sammy's answer. Faye Ockenpau, and Faye comes to us from, I believe, Norway. So I'm going to go to here and keep going. This is Sammy talking about food. I'll be looking through, and I see food is mentioned on this page, 2006. Faye Ockenpau. When I'm looking at Faye, I'll then be able to go through and look to see what's going on here. Where's Faye? There we go. And I'm looking at my specific responses where it was going to talk about connections to Norway. So two-way Faye Ockenpau has made connections to her Norwegian heritage. And heritage is like where somebody's family has come from. So when I'm looking through in the textbook to Faye, I'll be looking to see what Faye Ockenpau was doing in her Norwegian ethnicity and how that connects to her here in Minnesota. I'm going to make this back to my tab here. Our next one is Shang Pao Vang. Shang Pao Vang. If you're looking for the pronunciation for some of these names, if they're different from the language that you speak, you'll see that it tells us right in the textbook. Shang Pao Vang. Shang is 11 when he comes over to Minnesota, and I'm looking for why would many Hmong people, this H is silent here, why would many Hmong people come to Minnesota from a refugee camp? And so when we're looking at our 1980s and seeing what Vang's life was like coming into us, we had a lot of Hmong who came into Minnesota from Laos, some from the surrounding countries of Vietnam and Thailand, but we'll be looking to see what from, here we go, where everybody is living and where Sean's family comes from. And then we're going to see to Lourdes Ortega Schwab, and from Lourdes, so two questions about Vang. We're going to see why and how the Hispanic population has changed the town of Wilmer. And Wilmer is close by to us. Perhaps some of you have gone through and you've played sports, so we're right here, played sports against Wilmer. I'm going to come back to my sidebar. And then Ali in talking about why Somalis like Ali are leaving Somalia. Why would they choose to come to Minnesota in particular? So when I go to Ali, I'm going to look to see where Ali is coming from? He's coming from Ethiopia, but before that, Somalia. Why would Ollie leave Somalia? And then again, our question is saying, why to Minnesota? So I'm looking for something specific in Ollie's story to Minnesota. And then Rodney and Carla are going to stay in Minnesota. Why do they choose to stay in Minnesota? So we'll see that we've got a couple of different people that we're looking at. We're looking at Sammy, Faye. I shouldn't be clicking on these. I keep leaving my page. Sammy, Faye, Sean, who was next, Lourdes, Ollie, and Carla. When I'm looking at these individuals, I'm trying to use their responses for specific moments in their family. And then our sidebar. Coming back to our sidebar, we know a sidebar is a section of a page, I think it's going to be after Sean, that doesn't really fit with the rest of our theme. And so here's going to be our sidebar. What brings people to Minnesota? You'll notice it's the same title here in purple. What brings people to Minnesota? There's push and there's pull. You're not surprised that a push factor is something that pushes you to do something or act in a certain way. So if I'm trying to make a decision about chocolate ice cream or vanilla ice cream, a push factor would be, them not having chocolate ice cream. So I'm pushed to make a certain decision. Pull factor is what's going to pull you to make a certain decision. So when I'm looking at a pull factor, it's going to be something that will attract me to make a decision between two restaurants. Maybe a pull factor is the cost of each of the restaurants. And then a push factor would be something that sends me away from another restaurant. It pushes me away from a decision. So a push factor would be something that sends you away from it, like you're being pushed away from whatever you're doing or deciding. And then a pull factor is what attracts you and brings you into it. That's our video walkthrough for our Modern Minnesota Migration Assignment.